Kayaditi here, redoing Meow Wolf Easy for so many reasons. The contrast was terrible when I did it originally. I left out all kinds of tips or hadn't discovered things. This is a much better guide to how to play the course better. Also, I'm so excited. I have a record of one on every hole in this course. So a game ace for all 18, and this is the first course I've ever had that on. And so anyway, there's going to be a playthrough at the end as well for a minus 23, which was my high score recently, and I hope to improve that even more. So hole 1, I do like to just run it up through the center of that. Now, it can go lots of different ways depending on pacing and the hills, so I'm not aiming for anything more specific than right through the center at a fairly medium pace. To the right here, there's also a spot kind of in the middle of that frame, and it gets around really nicely as well if somebody thinks they like that better. Either way, you're having to go through those yellow rings, and there's a little bit of risk of catching something, so it doesn't save you that.
Well, unintended, and I'll take it.
So hole 2, luck absolutely can come into play, but there is a way to play this hole.
This one's pretty easy to get in the hole, just because it, want it to bank right around where that hill is. It's definitely doable to start with 2 if you're trying to get a new record. 2 hole-in-ones. I did the classic one, and you got spicy.
That's me.
So you're aiming to kind of tap kind of like right here across that, and the pace is fairly medium. It's not too crazy. Textbook.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Thank you. That was nice.
All
right, it's this one again.
Love that. Oh, thanks, man. Sure, no problems. I live to surf.
So yes, just a little earlier, I had actually aced this in game, the only time I've done that. This one's still a lot of luck going on. You can try to get over there to not bounce out, but other than that, there is no set advice for putting it in the hole reliably. I do not tend to putt straight towards the hole because way too often it does that. Throws you in the corner and you don't have a line. Instead, I aim towards the center or towards the right, just because there's much more opportunity for it to bank back towards the hole.
There it is.
I'm like, one day it's gonna do this magical thing.
This was one of the last aces I got in here, and I kept trying to drop it down there, which is what I do in game. It's a very easy eagle. And then I was like, watch your own videos, dummy, and went back and watched, and honestly, within like 4 minutes, I had another ace. I was like, well, this is ridiculous. I'm trying this path, and I had the game ace probably not even 10 minutes. So just bonkers. I did get a bogey with it first, and was like, okay, do it the first time now. But I think what I was super excited about was actually doing this on a birdie. I was like, heck yeah, because I had been trying to do that. But yes, in game, I'm not generally going around. All right, 5. 5 can do a lot of crazy things. I do not recommend the chaos approach. So just a nice medium tap, putting it very straight. That green ball in particular will just a straight line towards the hole, a little harder. It'll bank back off the back wall. So here's just for fun. There is so much chance in this, of course. There are 2 balls actually did ace in the hole in game. But then my personal favorite, just the ones, 3 of them actually did go in a game. Very exciting. For 6. I am not great at aiming to make this go in the waterfall in any magical way. But if that green area, that dark green piece at the bottom, if it goes in right in that spot, you have a chance that it's going to do the automatic ace where it weaves here at the top of the waterfall and drops into the hole. So at least you're going to know at the bottom if that's going to happen. I don't think I've seen it do it otherwise. On 7, This is my preferred route, just going around that and getting it to curve back into that back light pool, and that's going to spit it out towards the hole. You got to hit it pretty hard without going out. There's a lot of pacing to practice in this course, as with all the courses. Now, amusingly, when I'm doing this and it's doing a weird riskier popover in there, I have had it ace far more often. So I don't know if it's rewarding the risk. Like, what is happening? Either way, it's safer to pop it over this way if you don't like that pacing to get around the back. But it is very hard to ace it doing it that way. 8, oh my gosh, was so excited when this happened. Also has only happened once to me in game. And so I always take the shortcut and pop it over. Once you've got that pacing down, it just gets over so nicely and frequently gives you that line, and then you've got yourself an eagle. And if it misses that line, you've got yourself a birdie. So that's where you're hitting from, right in that area. Again, this is all just go and practice and get that pacing down. Interestingly, 9 took the longest. However you do it, the ball does not like to come back and drop in that cup. It's in a place that it just does not like to get to. I aim on the top side of the orb because more often I've noticed it'll catch that wall and go over and then come back, maybe catch the rainbow and get shoved towards the hole, and then maybe something will happen. I have done this where it's gone off the front of the orb and done it, but less often than if it's the back.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Freaking finally.
So very excited to get this record. Definitely only done this once in game, and this was how it went. And it just boom, right back in the hole.
Almost 2 of them. Crazy.
So in game, just play that one safer probably, unless you're real good at trying to aim it right towards the back of the orb without going out. It's risky, and that birdie is pretty guaranteed, so I don't mess around too much. All right, 10. I do like to pop it over into the orb, and that way increase my chances on it. That blue ball just running a straight line to the hole.
Gotta wait 35 minutes for them to all line up. You know.
That's true.
You guys know how it is.
There is a strategy on hole 11. Aim to the right side of the hill. That is more likely to keep that ball inside Numena's mouth back there. Aiming towards the left is more likely to miss and end up out. On 12, I like to aim right there. It's right across from that first tucked in pocket area near you. I find it quite forgiving whether it's up or down, and so I don't actually think about that too much. So 13, however you want to get it into the light and end up with a large ball, you do you. But for the hole-in-one on this, I had to take this off route, of course. This is where you want to hit it if you want to take a chance at grabbing that ace in game. $14. Yeah, I don't really recommend skipping the orb, but I mean, you could. It doesn't tend to play nicely though. So going through the orb and then hoping magical things happen, because there is no aiming anything on this hole, much like several holes in this course. On 15. Now this one, I definitely have something I like to do, and it's that line right there. You're right there where that lighter color is coming down, kind of like a little point. I aim towards that. A nice medium pace, nothing too fast, and that keeps it gentle, and it's gone in the hole numerous times since I started doing that. You can see I've hit right on it, I've hit just past it, and in here I actually went even farther down the wall, so there's some forgiveness baked in this, just getting it to come off that wall over there. 16. Aiming for that first sheep that's off to your right. So this one, You want that line at the very first hole, and you want the pace to be just so. This is a tricky one, and it's coming up the wall like this. That's what's going to get it. If it gets just the right height, then it's going to come down and run that line. And if you can do that, you've got yourself an ace in game. Now, if it's split after your first hit, you could just knock it clean out. That way your ball will respawn right here and you can hit your second one easy. But if you think you can do something like this, of course, go for that and get that extra point off your score. 17. Well, yeah, I don't too often get to open up 2 of them and have choices in game, but sometimes that happens. That's not what I tend to do. So eagle strategies, there's a couple of things you can do. You could just hit it hard enough that it opens and the ball goes out. So now you're back at T like this, and your shot is a little cleaner. That's doing it with blue. This is doing it with yellow. If you can learn to hit it in a way and your ball leaves the building, then your next shot, you can have that shot practiced. That's an eagle. And I love that because not everybody likes doing the more challenging one.
That's a good line and a good pace, and that is a
Very good.
perfect execution of this hole. If you want to know how to play it, Kayaditi just hit it perfectly, and she's going to be able to get into that onion with relative ease here.
Slanted.
Okay, I not to be dramatic, but Kayaditi actually really has to make this. She's got to adjust a little bit to the left. Good pace.
There you go.
Wow.
So I do really like this shot. It's what I do in game. So right here, barely across the end of the dark green, right there, it's going to hit that side of the yellow guy. Then that almost always sets you up for a line for your eagle. Now I went back and looked at my original video and was like, how did I ace this? And I remember it was pretty tough the first time. After I had gone back and looked at it, I managed to do it several times quickly. So I'm like, interesting. So if anyone really wants to try for this ace in game, this is pretty decent. You're just going to aim towards that blue guy. It's barely skimming his head. It catches that little square-shaped plant behind him, and that sends it rocketing back around, and sometimes in the hole. 18. You can hit any of those orbs for an ace. Any of them in there you like, if you just want to go crazy. But this obviously is the shot to do. Nobody needs advice on what to do on this other than timing it, putt straight. Right there you go. All right, so I did have to throw 6 from 7 in there because this was just such a shocker for me when it happened. But I'm about to show a full playthrough, all 18 holes. I got a minus 23 on it. That was actually a new record for me when I did it, and I don't usually film, so I was kind of surprised. I was like, okay, maybe I will throw this in a video. But if anybody wants to see just a straight playthrough and how I approach all this, then here it is. I do eventually, I think, start saying some things in the game, but it's all the same stuff I've just mentioned in the video. Getting that first ace, you know, and I really do think getting those first 2 aces, if you're really trying to just grind this course and get a better score, go ahead and be sure you've got those 2 aces on the first 2 holes, even if you have to restart, and then start working on the rest. Again, look where I'm hitting on 3. It's over towards the right of that particular panel. That's going to get it to land towards the right side. It was not as forgiving on this particular playthrough, but that is the spot I find tends to keep it more often near the hole. Unfortunately, par on that one, so I got a minus 24 in my future somewhere. I can't recall ever filming a game through before, and of course the first time I did it went pretty well, and I should have learned quicker about turning off the music and turning the in-game volume down, so apologies for that.
Weave. Nope. Way up there. Thanks a lot. Get in there. Never likes to ace this one. One that makes you so angry when you miss it. Nice and easy. Get on around. The other day it came out of the chute, hit that side, and rolled down the hill into the bottom section. I'd never had that happen before. Oh, freaking flutter putter. Not on this game. Come on, ace, make up for that. Come on. That was so rude. Cost me a point. Never ace this one in game. That'd be fun. No. Denied. Needed that point. Alright. Aced this yesterday, I think, in game for the first time. Oh, didn't hit it hard enough. It's not gonna get around. Alright, see if we can get this eagle. Alright. Getting open. Line. I know I scored. This one also really irritates me if I miss it. Woohoo! Oh man, first time I've ever tried filming a whole game and got a high score. Love it. I have been working on it though.
All right, some questions for you if you want to answer 1, 2, 3. Number them in the comments. On hole 2, do you aim for a particular hole? Which one the most often? Second question for you. On hole 6 with the waterfall, have you ever gotten that hole in one in game? I'm kind of curious how common it is. And on 3, do you go through the mouth of those guys with the teeth, or do you try to just bounce it over on hole 8? All right, subscribe if you like, but I really appreciate it if you do. It helps so much. Likes, comments, hopefully comments with answers to the questions, because I'm curious to see what everybody's got to say and how they approach this course. I love Meow Wolf. I don't know if it's everybody's favorite course, but it's one of mine. It's just so whimsical. All right, you guys are the best. Thanks for watching.